Welcome to Action Coaching. We certainly thank God that you have joined us on today because God has a special word for you. Now remember, Action Coaching is designed to coach the God-given gift that is in you, out of you, so you can live your best life now. Every one of us need a coach. And certainly, we are excited to know that God sends different people in our lives to coach us. Nobody makes it by themselves. All of us need someone that have went the way to show us how to go that way. So I'm excited about Action Coaching, and certainly I thank God for you. Now remember, I want you to encourage others to be a part of Action Coaching so that they too can be blessed. And of course, we want to continue to expand Action Coaching and be able to get bigger and better and do more creative things. And of course, we need you to help us. Action Coaching is designed just to give you some little tips, to give you some little nuggets that you can use to help move you further into whatever endeavor you are in. Now, tonight I want to talk about commitment. Yes. Seems like it's a simple word, but it's very hard for a lot of people to do. Now, the commitment is the state of quality of being committed to something, whether it's in the future or it's in the present right now. And I found out that a lot of people want to do great things, but they're just not committed. I've seen people in business that say they want a successful business, but they're not committed to do certain things. Maybe you would say, well, maybe you up the quality of the place that you're in. Or maybe you have some employees that simply do not have the spirit of the business, and maybe you need to commit to getting a better employee or a better person that have the spirit of commitment to your particular business. Now, commitment is a serious thing because a lot of people say it, but very few people do it. Isn't it amazing in life that I remember when I decided to get married? Now, one thing, saying you're going to get married and then actually deciding to get married is a totally different thing. When you stand up there at the altar and, they go through the speech and everything, but the bottom line is you're making a commitment that says, whether good or bad or however this turned out, we are committed to make this work. And the same thing applies to any endeavor in life. What type of commitment you're going to make? If it's your business, if you want to be the best real estate person, well, what kind of commitment do you have to that? Do you do it sometime? Or the days you feel like it, or are you committed to show up every single time? If it's a professional singer, are you a person that's committed to putting in the time that it takes for you to do your best? Day in and day out, or are you committed trying it every now and then and wondering why everybody don't get overjoyed at what you are doing? Now, the number one problem with taking commitment is people will use words like, I think I'm going to be there, or maybe I'll come. So when you hear those words, they're not real committed to the cause. But when a person really commits, they know they got to take an action to be there. And you got to understand about that. Some people can be, well, I'll be your friend some other time. But if a person is committed to being your friend, then they'll be your friend all of the time. So commitment is a key part to being successful. If you're not committed to work hard, if you're not committed to a high level of excellence, if you're not committed to seeing the task through to the end, you will never make it in life. No matter what educational level it is. Say I want a doctorate degree. Well, you got to be committed to go to more school. Then after high school, you got to go to college. Then you got to go again another 4 years of whatever, but you got to be committed to that. Now, the amazing thing about commitment is not only does it change you, but it allows you to see the success you have when you are committed to something. When I first got in my church, I didn't have a title. Nobody really knew who I was. I was just one of the members. I never became an evangelist or a deacon in that church. I never even had the title, maybe a special assistant or anything. I had no title in the ministry that I came out of. But however, I did have one thing that allowed me to be successful to this day. I was committed to my church. If they needed somebody to clean up the bathroom, I'm committed to the church. I didn't look at it as cleaning up the bathroom. I was committed to the church. If they needed somebody to put up the tent ministry, at that time we were having service on the tent. I wasn't looking at like it was a tent ministry or somebody putting up the tent. I went and put up the tent. If they needed somebody to hand flyers out on the street, I was committed to doing that. I was committed to whatever it took for our church to succeed at that particular time, and I didn't even have a title. You know the amazing thing about a lot of people? They want the position, but don't want the commitment. They want the success, but don't want to do what it takes to be successful. They want all of the tangible things, but they won't give the basic thing that allow them to achieve this thing. You've got to be committed. I've seen people who committed to preaching the Bible, just not committed to studying the Bible. They're not committed to doing the things that you need to do in order to be successful in life. And it doesn't matter what it is. You can talk about you want your body in the best physical shape, but if you're not committed to do what's necessary, you're just talking. It's going to take commitment. But I'm here to assure you that once you put the commitment in, it prepares you for so many things. How many times have you seen people spend their life committed to causes? That they work on that cause day in and day out because they are committed. And commitment is an important thing that needs to be in every successful person's vocabulary and mind. You got to be committed in order to be successful. You got to be willing to do what it takes to get the job done. They got to use words about you like faithful, committed, showing up, even if your name not called. Just be committed. How many of you that are watching me now can truly look up and say, yes, I've been committed to this over the last few years. Now, when I say committed to this, I'm talking about committed to something that's bigger than you. Some people can say, I've been committed to doing nothing every day. And yes, they've been faithful at doing that. Or committed to just sitting here and just watching life pass me by. Yes, they've been committed to that. But however, when are you going to practice commitment? Even the Word of God says, commit our ways unto the Lord. Now, it says that, and it's difficult for us to do that. Because when we say we commit our ways to the Lord, then we're saying, God, I believe you in charge of every one of my circumstances. But however, some people's commitment, I commit to you what I can control and what I can do. But that I need you to do, I'm not going to commit that to you. But we got to commit our ways unto the Lord. Now I'm talking about commitment because we're living in a time where the world is changing. Information is being flooded in our lives every single day. And we've got to choose what we're going to be committed to. As we watch things change, we shouldn't be amazed they're changing, because there's a group of people that's committed to those changes taking place. And there should be a group of people that are committed to certain changes taking place in their own life. So commitment is a very powerful word, but it's not practiced much. But I'm here today to coach you and say it's time to be committed. It's time to go toward those things that God has in store for you. If you're going to have a successful life, you've got to be committed. Now I'm going to be right back to talk to you, so I don't want you to go anywhere. Welcome back. Been talking about commitment, and so I want to stress one particular point about commitment. Commitment is that you're obligated and engaged to an action that requires you to be attentive all of the time. If someone said, I'm committed to being great, then that means it does not allow you to veer off and do other things, because you got a commitment to a certain issue. I made a commitment that one of the things I wanted my family to say about me is that I was as great at home as I was outside the home. So I was committed to doing what it took. Certain places I couldn't go. I'm traveling all over the world, but I had small sons at that time, but I was committed to, if I was not there when they went to bed, I certainly wanted to be there when they got up in the morning. But it was a commitment. It was a commitment I made. I went to the PTA meetings. I met with the teachers. I went to all of the school things because I was committed to being the best that I could do as a parent, so that they could grow up and see that it is necessary to be committed. What have you been committed to today? What have you decided, I'm going to give myself over to this and I'm going to see it all the way through? That's what commitment takes. Have you even committed to the Lord? Have you ever committed to a cause? Have you ever committed to anything in your life? Most people will say, I like to enjoy it, but I don't want to be committed to it. How many times have I seen that people will come to church and they want to have all these things in the church? They just don't want to help it get done. There is no commitment. But whatever you're committed to, then you're engaging yourself in. And there's such a blessing in being committed. Because when you're committed to something, you're going to reap all of the potential that's in whatever you're committing to, and you're going to thank God for it. If you're committed to being the best you can be, then you're going to experience some things you have not experienced. So certainly in this time that we're living in, I believe it's time for people to be more committed. I heard a statistic the other day. It says that now 47% of America said they are likely to go to church for a physical service. But that means you got 60-some% saying that I get my spiritual experience online, so I don't need to come to the church. Commitments are changing in every direction. Some people are committed to things like that. And how are we going to move people to be committed to common causes? We've seen things change in the world because committed people have put their lives on the line. Even in the incident when we had all of the different movement because of the George Floyd killing, and not only George Floyd, but so many other people lost their lives in some unusual ways. But however, there were people all across the globe that committed to a cause. You say, how do I know they committed to a cause? Because they got on the street, they marched, they protested, they let their voices be heard. That's what we call commitment. Now, that same spirit is carried over into so many other things, because if change is going to happen, it's going to have to be committed people. Whether we're in the church, whether we're talking about Jesus or anything, there's got to be some commitment. And people are not committed to doing that. Now, they're committed to having everybody else do it and they come enjoy it, but they're not committed to being a part of it themselves. Commitment demands that you have to give something of yourself over and over and over again until the job is done. I certainly want to stress to you that there's great power in commitment. And as we come quickly toward the times that the world is transforming, it's going to take people that's committed to make a difference. So many things are happening and we're sitting around saying, well, I don't want to get involved. I don't want to do anything. Now it's time to get committed. Committed means you're going to show up. You're going to get engaged. You're going to do what's necessary in the name of Jesus. So commitment is very powerful. Now, I know I've been talking about commitment here on Action Coaching, and here's what I want you to do. I want you to take some time and write down some things you're going to be committed to. Don't put a long list. Just put some realistic things you're going to be committed to. And watch the results you have when you are committed. The Lord is calling for all of us to be committed. Quit jumping around to every different thing based on what you feel. But it's time for you to be committed and take a stand in the name of Jesus. I found out that a lot of people say they like something, but when they don't like it, they will leave. But however, the people that are committed, they show up time and time again because they're committed to the cause. What have you been committed to? Are you committed to getting better? Are you committed to doing what's necessary for you to have a high quality of life? Are you committed to turning things around, the things that you can turn around? Commitment is necessary. I don't even like to be in relationships with individuals where it's just a one-way street. A lot of times you see people, you always got to pick them up. Always got to encourage them. They always down. They ain't never got time to encourage you or pick you up. It seems like a one-sided situation. But when people are committed to a cause, everybody benefits. So let's strive for commitment. Here on Action Coaching, just that one word. It's time to be committed. If you're going to be great, be committed. If you're going to have a satisfaction in life, be committed. Think about how many of the healthcare workers go to work every day during this COVID season, putting their lives on the line. Obvious is not for the benefit of the job, but it's because they're committed to a cause bigger than themselves. I know the world likes to call them essential workers, but however, no, that's not quite the right term. They're necessary because they're committed. They're committed to helping people get better. They're committed to serving during the time of great danger. And I want to applaud them and thank God for their commitment, because I know commitment demands that you show up and be willing to pay the price. Well, the Lord bless you. I certainly enjoyed talking to you about commitment, but I want to say this one thing before I close, that commitment gives you great power. When you're committed to something, that means you're capable of seeing it through. And don't you know the joy and satisfaction you get when you are able to see one thing through? When you see one thing through, you can see other things through. And that's the power of commitment. Now I keep stressing commitment because we don't have much of it. We don't even know if we can have friends because, hey, they're not committed to us. Maybe you said the wrong thing or you don't call them back. That goes out the window. But however, commitment is a very powerful force in our lives. And as a coaching person, I want to charge you to be committed. You don't get committed by not showing up. You can get committed by placing it in your lifestyle and say, I'm going to show up day in and day out. I am going to be committed. It's the act of being committed to a cause or a purpose. What are you committed to today? What can you honestly say, I'm seeing this through because I'm committed to something bigger than myself? I found out early on in the ministry, in order to commit to the ministry, you got to understand it's a cause bigger than you. It's not about you. It's about the group. It's not about you gaining all of the fame. It's about the group. So I want you to make sure that you are committed. I'll be right back to talk to you.
Y'all haven't got the revelation. I got to take you another step. If faith is the title deed, then that means whatever the devil have, it does not belong to him. It belongs to me. But I got to use my faith to, I don't have no church people with me here. I got to use my faith to repossess it. The devil does not own it. It's mine, and my faith is the title deed to those things that belong to me. That's why when God talk about the world, he don't talk about it like it's the devil's world. He said the earth is the Lord.
Welcome back to Action Coaching. Now I've talked to you on today about commitment, and I certainly want you to apply that principle to your life. Before I go, I want to encourage you to commit to sowing a special seed of support for Action Coaching so that we can continue to expand Action Coaching, do some creative things, and make it bigger and better for so many people. I believe Action Coaching is necessary, and a lot of people need the coaching lessons that are brought forth each and every week. So I want you to sit down and sow a financial seed for the support of Action Coaching. There's a link in my bio that will allow you to support the things that God is doing here via Action Coaching. And certainly we thank God for your support. We thank God for you standing with us. And I want to encourage you to tell others about Action Coaching so they can tune in each and every week. I thank God for you. Thank God for your financial support. Well, the Lord bless you. I've certainly enjoyed sharing with you on today. I want you to check out First Lady More Than Life on Friday. And of course, she do Sunday school, and we have Sunday services. So we have so many things that help the people of God, and you need to check all of them out. Well, as I do each and every week, I want to encourage you. Share the word with a friend and keep the word in action.